Bobby gets a 2.
That's not covered.
Yeah. Not bad. He recovered, it's a 4.3.
I don't think he needs an INTRO introduction, but I am going to do one. I don't think he needs an introduction, but I am going to do one. Lance McLemore is a member of the Impact Voices Board of Directors and an alumnus of the University of Alabama in Huntsville, holding a BA in Studio Art and Philosophy. He is currently associated with PRC Saltillo and the Center for AAC and Autism. He is a passionate advocate for greater use and acceptance of AAC and regularly presents on the subject at state, national, and international conferences. His most important message is to remind people that the purpose of AAC is to make it easier to form relationships and increase inclusion in all spheres of life.
The one is virtual recording that I did with James, who's a trans user, and the other one's from Sheree.
IPA disability is very frustrating in many ways, but finding meaningful, well-paid, important is at the top of the list. Important is one of the greatest challenges I deal with. The benefits and importance of having a well-paid job are obvious. Employment brings opportunity and not just of a financial nature. It means having a nice place to live in a decent area, having access to nutritious foods, access to educational opportunities, healthcare, relationship opportunities, and so on. Employment is a rite of passage. It's a stepping stone to bigger and better things, and if you can't take the step, then you cannot fully step into adulthood. I personally understand this feeling of being stuck. In my whole adult life, I have never been above the poverty line. I have only lived on my own for a few months while I was in college. My car is 24 years old. It sits in my yard mostly unused because I don't feel safe driving it, and fixing it would cost more than it's worth. Someday I'd like to get married, but who wants to marry someone who can carry his weight? I very much want to have a place of my own, have a car that's not a money pit, be able to contribute to a relationship, and do so many other things that are impossible without financial independence. Having a job is not just about the financial benefits, but there are other more intangible benefits. It's important to have a reason to get out of bed in the morning. The mere sustaining of biological existence is not enough. Most human beings are not like pigs, which are happy to even roll around in the mud. We strive for a higher existence, a life with meaning and purpose, not just satisfying our base desires. A job is not necessary to achievement, but it's a part of it. I'm sure that some people think I'm indulging in quite a lot of self-pity. That is not my intention or desire. Most people who know me even a little quickly see my brutal honesty, and it is for the sake of honesty that I speak so openly and candidly. I only desire a candid discussion and appraisal of the serious problem of employment of AAC users. According to ASHA, there are about 5 million AAC users in the United States. In 2010, a study out of 10 states found that only 10% of AAC users work 10 hours a week or more. That amounts to 200,000 AAC users working 10 hours a week or more. That means that there are a targeting number of AAC users that are employed or underemployed. I've had too many conferences on AAC. One thing I've had noticed is that there seems to be a hyper-focus on children. The needs of young AAC users certainly needs to be addressed. However, more attention should be directed to the unique needs and problems of adult AAC users, employment being one of them. Although little ones will grow up, and we need to consider what their lives will be like at 20, 40, 60, and beyond. The problem of unemployment is multifaceted. I think one of the barriers is lack of access to reliable transportation. Many AAC users have disabilities that make it difficult or impossible to drive. If you don't have a way to get to a job, your job search is over before it even begins. I could drive until 2018. For a long time I didn't bother looking for a job because I knew I would have no way to get there. In college I had an internship opportunity, but I didn't apply because I knew transportation would be an issue. Unsurprisingly, income is one of the most severely limiting factors for a very limited population seeking to access reliable, safe transportation. Households earning more than $35,000 per year reach nearly 100% vehicle ownership rates whether they have a disability or not. However, according to the United States Department of Transportation, the median household income for people with disabilities is $25,550. 26% of disabled adults do not have a car. There's a vicious circle that people get trapped in. You need reliable transportation to get to a job, but you can buy reliable transportation without having a job first. Breaking the vicious circle is a big challenge. The stature that transportation is out of the reach of a large number of disabled adults, and so it's obvious how it can negatively affect employment opportunities. Some people are thinking, is public transportation an option? The answer is yes, sort of. Taxis, buses, trains, services like Uber and Lyft, they're transit, and others are available, but it's very much hit or miss. Those kinds of transportation options are mostly available in large or moderately large cities, and the vast majority of the population does not live in such places. When someone is applying for a job, there are many things that a hiring manager takes into account: education, certifications, technical skills, references, soft skills, and job history. Job history is probably a weak spot for many AAC users and disabled people in general, and it's a major consideration in hiring decisions. Hiring someone can be a long and expensive process, and a work history with large gaps can make hiring managers nervous. I have already shown that AAC users have a very high rate of unemployment. It's not a stretch to assume that most AAC users would also have gaps in their employment history, if they even have a history at all. Let's try to imagine what an AAC user might go through in a job interview. They're sitting across the desk from an interviewer, Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith notices some gaps in their history and asks them about it. What is an AAC user supposed to say to explain it without making themselves look like a worse candidate than they already do? How do you explain those 2 years when you didn't have a job? Do you tell them about the scores upon scores of applications you sent out? Or the numerous interviews where you didn't get the job? Mr. Smith, I assume there must be a good reason why you were turned down so many times. Do you tell them about comparisons or discrimination at your last job that was so bad that you had to quit? Now, Mr. Smith might think you're a troublemaker who might be litigious and cause legal problems. There's so many scenarios where the interview can go downhill. It saved mine. Still, it seems impossible for an AAC user to navigate gracefully. There are different ways that people find out about job openings, and professional networking sites like LinkedIn are important these days. However, I'm guessing that many people in the audience found out about jobs through friends and colleagues. They were tipped off about a new opportunity somewhere that's not listed on any website, and very few people know about it. It's estimated that 70 to 80% of jobs are not advertised. Generally speaking, employers are more inclined to hire someone they already know. After doing a Google search, I found numerous articles about social and professional networks being an important source for job opportunities. Depending on the size of the company, an employer can receive up to 6 times as many applications as the number of employees. Just because of it, it would be hard for anybody to stand out. It stands to reason that anyone with sparse or non-existent networks will be at a disadvantage in the job hunt. I've spoken many times about the significant social isolation faced by many AAC users. One of the effects of this isolation is much smaller social networks, so AAC users are cut off from many potential job opportunities. In my opinion, the interview is the single most terrifying part of the job search. As of the time that I wrote this presentation, I've never been through a formal interview. I got my current job because some people thought I was really good at using my device, so I slowly worked my way up helping others with presentations until eventually I was doing my own. I stumbled upon PRC in 2016, and I ended up getting my ranks at 1000. The PRC rep told John Pellerin about me, and he invited me to come to a Land workshop he was doing. I listened to him talk about the theory behind Land, and we had time to talk about it privately. He explained to me how I could be faster with Land, and what he said made a lot of sense to me. I was very comfortable with the system after about 2 months. The next time we talked, I was very fluent with it. I slowly started going to presentations and conferences. In the beginning, I had more of a supporting role, but eventually I was doing my own presentations and my own conference sessions. Now that I look back on it, it seems like the first meeting with John and the others that followed were sort of like interviews. He saw what I was able to do and started giving me more work to do, and I started building connections. I wish all interviews were like that. Accommodations are probably one of the reasons employers are hesitant to hire people with disabilities. And I imagine that providing accommodations will be expensive or disruptive. However, in most cases, this theory is baseless. I think an employer's concerns about accommodations comes partly from misunderstandings about what the essential functions of the job are. I have been on LinkedIn looking at job listings. Many of them have very extensive job descriptions with many seemingly superfluous requirements that are not essential to performing the job. I recently read a funny article about a man who faked his resume. Everything on it was a lie except his degrees, but he did the job with no trouble. His co-workers and superiors never figured out he didn't meet any of the supposedly essential requirements. A job description might say that you need to be able to lift 50 pounds, even though that's not actually an essential function of the job. Many job listings say that excellent oral communication is necessary to do the job. Does that mean an AAC user could do the job? Is it absolutely necessary for a person to have full use of the natural voice to do the job? I'm not always sure, and I would definitely feel a put off when I see requirements like that. It seems like some hiring managers write job listings and throw in a bunch of generic requirements with little or no talk about what is actually necessary to do the job. If you work in construction, then a job listing that says you need to be able to lift 50 pounds makes sense. Such a requirement probably would make sense for a software developer. Employers need to consider what is actually essential to perform each job and cut back on the unnecessary flaws in their job listings. If they do that, then any needed accommodations would probably be fewer, less expensive, and less overwhelming. One possible solution I would like to briefly mention is self-employment. I know it's not a good answer for every AAC user, but it's worth considering. A great advantage is that it bypasses a lot of the nonsense that AAC users have to go through in finding and keeping a job. If you have your own business, there are no interviews. You don't have to deal with discrimination and prejudice. You don't have to convince anybody that you're capable of contributing. You don't have to fight to get accommodations, etc. If an AAC user has skills or they can develop skills that they can use to open their own business, it's definitely worth considering. A while ago, I was reading an article about how the pandemic had some unexpected benefits for disabled people. Because so many businesses shut down, a lot of jobs became remote, and they opened up many job opportunities for disabled people that they otherwise would not have. Partly because they didn't have to deal with the logistics of getting to and from a workplace, or dealing with prejudice and doubts about their capabilities. People with significant physical disabilities could have well-paying jobs from the comfort of their homes, and many of their bosses didn't even know they had a disability. Finally, bosses were forced to only judge their employees by their productivity and output. It looks like remote work is going to stick around to some degree. For some AAC users, this might be a good option. The internet has been a wonderful equalizer for people with disabilities and opened up so many opportunities. If you're a good writer, you can start a blog and make money from it through affiliate marketing, sponsorships, etc. If you have a hobby that you're good at, you can make instructional videos and courses. You can become a seller on Amazon or eBay. There's many other possibilities. I think advice from Temple Grandin would be very helpful here. Expose AAC users to lots of different things. Give them the most rigorous academic curriculum you can. Don't just assume they can do it. Lack of speech does not equate to lack of intelligence. Encourage them to try different hobbies: sewing, painting, gardening, woodworking, car repair, learning a musical instrument, etc. While exploring their strengths and finding out what they like. They will probably find something that could become a career. If they don't know that something exists, then they can consider it. There seems to be a tendency to shelter AAC users from the world, but it's a great mistake. They must be allowed and encouraged to explore and develop their talents. Teach them to have good manners. I've seen many parents of disabled children feel sorry for their children, so they don't discipline them and enforce boundaries. You don't want them to grow up to be adults that nobody can stand to be around or work with. Encourage them to explore different jobs when they're old enough. Even if a job turns out to be a forfeit, they can still learn skills that they can apply to others. I was a painter for a while, but I really didn't enjoy it. However, even though I didn't stick with it, I still learned skills that I still use. There will always be discrimination, injustice, and unfairness in a myriad of forms. There seems to be basically two responses to this problem. Increase education and awareness of the needs of AAC users and other disabled people. The other solution is to help disabled people just to the world as it is. I think the optimum solution is somewhere in between. AAC users cannot force anyone to understand or accept them. They cannot force anyone to educate themselves. They cannot force anyone to give them a chance for a job. And AAC users cannot wait around for the world to be fair. If an AAC user or any other person with a disability wants to thrive in this world, they have to grow a very thick skin and put up with a lot of harshness. They have to be stubborn, persistent, and they live disagreeable at times. Would it be great if there was no more discrimination, injustice, unfairness? However, heaven is not for this world. We can and should strive for better, but we will never quite get to and we are resembling a utopia. While I'm a bit of a romantic and an idealist, I'm also a pragmatist. The harsh truth is that most people will have doubts about whether we can wake up in the morning and remember our own day, so of course it's inconceivable to most people that we could be gainfully employed. I have tried to offer some solutions and suggestions in this recitation. However, I know they are grossly inadequate. It's an ongoing struggle for me to find my own secret code to getting a job, so how can I tell other people what to do? I was desperate to talk about this subject because my solutions were in short supply. I hate to stand up here and just complain, but I don't have all the answers. I will assume that everyone here cares about AAC users thriving, having as many opportunities as possible, and having a well-paid, meaningful job with all the tangible and intangible benefits that go along with it. I don't have all the answers, so this is a call to action. I want you to join with me to find solutions to this problem.
Thank you. Lance. 4. That. Thank you, Lance, for that. Time. 4. Questions. I think we have time for questions.
No question for them.
With your degree, if you didn't have a transportation issue or
With your degree, if you didn't have a transportation issue or other obstacles, what would be your dream job?
That's a hard one. That's a hard one. I would certainly want to keep doing things like this and maybe make and sell my artwork. I would certainly want to keep doing things like this and maybe make and sell my artwork. There, maybe also do some writing. Maybe also do some writing.
love it, thank you. And do it.
I think that is all we have time for. And I think we take a break about before doing the round table. I think that is all we have time for, and I think we take a break before doing the round table. 15.